You got to have some place where you just enjoy going, you know.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Public Utilities for the City of Santa Rosa to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Board Member Wright?
Here.
Board Member Meisler? Here. Board Member DeWitt?
Present.
Board Member Badenfort?
Here.
Vice Chair Arnone?
Here.
And Chair Galvin?
Here.
Let the record reflect that all board members are present.
Thank you. Any statements of abstention by board members? Seeing none, all right. We have no study session. We have the minutes for the August 20th meeting that you were sent. Are there any questions or changes to those minutes? All right, we'll open up for public comment on item number 5.1. If you wish to make a comment on the minutes, please move to the podium. See no one rise. The minutes will be approved and entered. We have 3 staff briefings. Item 6.1, Director Burke.
Thank you, Chair Galvin and members of the board. Our first staff briefing is our 2026 wildfire preparation, and Joe Schiavone, our Deputy Director of Local Water and Sewer Operations, will be presenting.
Good afternoon, Chair Galvin, Vice Chair Arnone, members of the board, here today to brief you on some of the fire-related emergency preparation work that's been completed throughout the year in the local water and sewer operations division. June 1st was the official start in Santa Rosa for fire season, and we have been very fortunate to only have 1 red flag warning so far this season. We did receive below average rainfall for the 25-26 year, but everything is still looking like a normal fire season for our area. We, as of Monday, had about 302,000 acres burned throughout the state, so probably a little bit ahead of where we were this time last year, but again, still pointing towards normal. The map in front of you shows the fires throughout the region for the entire year. And as of Monday, the active fires that were still burning throughout the state. So this changes quickly, and around this time of year, we'll probably see quite a few more that come into play. But fortunately, nothing active around our region right now. We do work with the Santa Rosa Fire team to get the fire potential outlook and the prediction maps. As you can see, the above average areas are sort of mimicking what we're seeing in the news lately, where the fires are kind of have been in that region this year. And ours, again, is still in that normal prediction. So even with the weather that we're seeing today and potentially a little bit more rain next week, We're supposed to return to a little bit warmer weather on Monday. They're still looking at October as a normal fire season for us, which is kind of good news for us. October can be kind of risky, as we all know, with the fires that we've had in the past. It's very dry during that time of year, so optimistically looking for a normal season. On the preparation and planning side, our ongoing efforts to continue to train staff whenever possible regarding our DOC operations. We do try to develop effective drills every year and refine those drills when necessary, taking advantage of tools like technology, using our INET site as a resource for staff, as well as a way for them to easily check in both their time and the equipment. A big portion of these operations for us is capturing all the time for staff and materials so that if it becomes a large event, we can seek reimbursement. On the infrastructure side, we continue to complete projects, a lot of in-house projects this year. As I've mentioned in presentations in the past, we are taking advantage of some of the enhancements we were seeing in the radio project that we did a few years ago, allowing us to monitor our system a little bit better remotely. Our trucks and equipment are fairly well stocked throughout the year. This is a busier time of year for us just because we have the longer days and better weather, so pretty heavily stocked at this time. With regard to supplies, we are making sure that not only we have the supplies that we need to help fix or maintain our system if needed, but also the personal protective gear that might be necessary. So even if we don't have a fire in our jurisdiction, we can be heavily impacted by things like air quality. And if folks are coming in after hours or unplanned, then we have the supplies that they need to keep them safe. And again, on communication, we have a lot of communication with our crews on a daily basis, really helping them understand what might be needed if we have an event, letting them know any changes in our system throughout the year. So if they come in unexpectedly, they'll know why something's operating differently than it has been in the past. We're very fortunate at Santa Rosa Water to have a high level of system resiliency. The fact that we have stationary generators at all of our water pump stations and most of our sewer lift station is just a great benefit to our community. And then receiving the hazard mitigation grant that we received a few years ago to help fund a large-scale generator replacement project really is helping us out quite a bit. The fires that we had between 2017 and 2020, really, we were using our generators quite a bit more than they were probably ever planned to be used, and much more than they'd been used in the decades before. So a really great enhancement to have new generators at all of those facilities. We also work diligently to standardize the equipment. So this allows us to have a local vendor. So when we're in the middle of an emergency and we have an issue, we're able to get parts and service quickly. We continue to work to harden our facilities, make them as fire resistant as possible. This includes things like incorporating CMU walls, and whenever we replace a roof, we're typically doing that with a metal roof, again, just to make the facility more fire resistant. And a lot of work on our radio communications. We are able to use the newer radios in a way that we were not, a lot of enhancements that help us monitor things like these generators remotely. So if we are in a department operations center mode, we can see what's going on from the command center. So it's been very helpful. And just general communication, which is probably one of the most important parts for preparation with us. We have quarterly water operations meetings with Sonoma Water and all of the contractors. This gives us an opportunity as we're entering into different seasons throughout the year to coordinate with them any issues they're seeing, the demands that they have, and how we can help them and they can help us as well. After 2017, we formalized the water, fire, and communications meetings that we have. This has been a huge benefit for us. Santa Rosa Fire has been a great partner for us. They provide us with a lot of information. We work closely together to make sure that our operations are supporting each other throughout the year, but certainly during the fire season. We've developed several techniques to communicate with one another during large events. and exercise those several different times. A large portion of us attend weekly meetings with the Sonoma County Department of Emergency Management, which includes the National Weather Service. So we're getting a lot of prediction and forecast of what the weather's going to look like and any changes that are coming our way. That does include our regional partners. So if there are issues throughout this region, we know what they're facing and what may be coming our way. And then again, a lot of internal and external communication, the external being generally what we were mentioning before, and then letting the public know what's going on, and internally working with folks like our capital improvement team to let them know if a project might impact some of our operations during a sensitive time. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Deputy Director Schiavone. I'll open it up for any board member questions or comments. Board Member DeWitt?
Yes, please. It's a nice presentation. Thank you. Do you folks also talk with the Santa Rosa Parks Department? I ask because you have a number of transient vagrants that live in the parks and they do fires near woodland type situations. Do you have that kind of interaction in your meetings?
So of course we work with all other departments. Most of the information that we hear regarding that is through the fire department, who's dealing with whatever fire might be in that area. So we certainly hear if there's an uptick.
Well, I'll just let you know that the Roseland Creek Park of 19.5 acres has a number of campers that build fires regularly. And if a strong wind comes, those fires could blow into the trees and then over to the houses. Thank you kindly.
Board Member Meisler?
Thank you. I'm curious what measures that you have been looking into with respect to hardening the SCADA equipment in particular. There's been some news in the press about water infrastructure being hacked, and curious what's going on there. I don't know if that's in your purview. Thank you.
It is a great question. We are very fortunate to have a very secure SCADA system. We work closely with our partners in the IT department, and we have been notified for quite some time about some of the issues that are surrounding that. We've also had audits on our system as well, and we feel we're as prepared as we can possibly be, and we kind of go to the extra mile to make sure that we are ready for any of that type of activity.
That is great to hear. Thank you.
Other board member questions or comments? All right, we'll open it up for public comment on item number 6.1. If you wish to make a public comment, please move to the podium. Seeing no one rise. Thank you again for the presentation.
Thank you.
We'll move to item 6.2. Director Burke?
Thank you, Chair Galvin and members of the board. Item 6.2 is our 2026 Creek Week update staff briefing, and Kyle Spongberg, our environmental specialist with our Stormwater and Creeks team, will be presenting.
Good afternoon, Mr. Spongberg.
Great. Thank you, Director Burke. Good afternoon, Chair Galvin and members of the board. I'm here today to talk to you about the exciting events that we have for this year's Creek Week activities and celebration. To start the Creek Week this year, we will be starting off with our Creek to Coast cleanup, which will be occurring on September 19th, Saturday, from 10 to noon. And this is also in celebration of California's Coastal Cleanup Day. This year is particularly exciting and special as the Commission is celebrating 50 years of the California Coastal Act, which was adopted in 1976. On Sunday, September 20th, our staff will lead a guided nature walk along Santa Rosa Creek. And on Monday, September 21st, volunteers are invited to join our Milkweed Monday event at the Lower Colgan Creek Restoration Project, where we'll be weeding and scattering milkweed and other wildflower seeds across our newly restored creek landscape. Our popular Downtown Underground tours will be taking place on Tuesday, September 22nd and Thursday, September 24th. Registered participants are welcome to join this event and explore the culverts anytime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. On Wednesday, September 23rd, city staff will compete for a chance to earn the Golden Trash Cup. This is our 5th annual event. City staff are very excited and ask lots of questions about this event, so we're excited to keep the momentum going. We'll have cleanup stations and supplies set up near the municipal buildings downtown at Prince Gateway Park, at Santa Rosa Creek at Stony Point Road, and then near the Laguna de Santa Rosa at the Laguna Treatment Plant. Finally, Creek Week will conclude on Friday, September 25th, with a bilingual birding event co-hosted and led by the Laguna de Santa Rosa Foundation. The staff and registrants will be meeting on Williside Road and walking downstream along Santa Rosa Creek to observe the great biodiversity and birding that there is to offer there. Anyone interested in attending one of the events, we ask to please visit our Creek Week website and register, where you'll also find additional details and registration links. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you out there at the Creek Week events.
Thank you. I'll open it up for any board member questions or comments. I did mention in our pre-meeting lunch, I was able to do the underground tour last year, and it was very, very interesting. I would encourage all of you to take advantage of the opportunity to go underneath City Hall and all the way to the other side of what would be Southeast Street, right? Yeah. Anyhow, other board member questions or comments? Board member DeWitt?
Yes, thank you. That was a nice presentation. The Creek Week activities, I'm curious, do you actually go out and look at other creeks besides Santa Rosa Creek?
Yes, we do. In the past, and this year in particular, oftentimes we focus on logistics and the large number of people that end up coming to these events. But we have visited other creeks, Colgan Creek being one of them, and we're always looking at expanding to other creeks in the future as well.
Thank you, sir. I spent time yesterday and today. Roseland Creek has 2 bridges, one at McMinn Avenue and one at Burbank Avenue. Transient vagrants store their, I guess you'd say, possessions, belongings, things they collect under those bridges. Sometimes they even sleep under there. And this unexpected rain has come. I don't know if this was strong enough to be what you call the first flush, but I do believe that debris needs to be moved out from under those 2 bridges. I'm hoping that you're the person that can handle that and that we can get that stuff out of there so it doesn't go to the Laguna de Santa Rosa, because it would flow on out there if that was the case. And thanks again for your time, sir, and letting me volunteer. I appreciate it.
Other board member questions or comments? Board member Badenford?
It's really just a comment. Thank you very much. I also did the underground culvert tour downtown. It's been several years now, actually. It was, as a board member, very, very educational. I'm really glad I did it. I'd like to do it again, actually, especially since we're doing a lot more stormwater work.
There's some new interesting graffiti down there, too.
There's some new, I'm certain a tour, I think going out and getting on site, especially for projects that we often kind of sit up here or in offices and don't really get out to, it really can just help us be better stewards and advocates and decision makers around it. So sign me up for whatever the next board tour is. Thanks.
Thank you. Other board member questions or comments? All right, we'll open it up for public comment on item 6.2. If you wish to make a public comment, please move to the podium. See no one rise. That'll take care of item 6.2. Thanks again, Mr. Sponberg.
Yeah, thank you all.
Item 6.3, Director Burke.
Thank you. Our final staff briefing is a review of the trucked waste program for the Laguna Treatment Plant. And Renee Gundy, our new trucked waste program coordinator, will be presenting.
Good afternoon and welcome, Ms. Gundy.
Good afternoon, Chair Galvin and members of the board. My name is Renee Gundy, and I am...
Yeah, a little closer to the mic. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. My name is Renee Gundy. I am the Trucked Waste Program Coordinator, which is a newer position in the environmental compliance section within Environmental Services. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Trucked Waste Program at the Laguna Treatment Plant. This program allows companies to haul wastewater to the treatment plant by truck. This service is particularly important for waste that cannot or should not be discharged directly to the sewer. For example, when a location where the waste is generated has no sewer connection or operates under stricter discharge requirements. So today, I'm going to be providing you with some background about the program and then bring you up to speed on where we are today. So before the Trucked Waste Program was formally established, the Laguna Treatment Plant primarily accepted landfill leachate from the central landfill and several of the county's closed landfills. And for clarity, leachate is the liquid waste that percolates through the soil and landfill material and will collect in a pond on the site. And we also occasionally would receive septic waste from a small number of haulers. At this time, we saw approximately 10 to 20 trucks per day during the summer, increasing to as many as 70 trucks a day during the heavy rains. And then in 2006, a pipeline was constructed from the central landfill, so that eliminated the need for that waste to be trucked into our plant. In 2015, the septic disposal rate was lowered to a more competitive price, which brought in more septic and portable toilet waste. And then in 2016, the high-strength waste station was constructed, which allowed us to accept more concentrated waste streams. And unlike other trucked waste streams that discharge to the plant's headworks, the high-strength waste station is metered directly into the digesters, where it generates methane that can be used to power engines and heat the digesters. So this provides an energy benefit to the treatment process, although the amount that we can accept per day is limited by the on-site storage capacity. And I'll go into a little more detail later about each of the discharge areas. So as the high-strength waste station was added and we began evaluating additional waste streams, we identified that there was a need to accommodate what we now call medium-strength wastewater. Because as we permitted more haulers, we found that some of the wastewater didn't fit neatly into the existing categories of waste that we had currently been accepting. We started by reviewing lab data and determining that these wastes could be safely discharged at the same location that we were accepting the landfill leachate for so many years. And this is what we call the emergency holding basin, which I'll talk about later. Other improvements included modernizing the check-in process so haulers no longer had to complete a paper form for every load, installing cameras to monitor the disposal areas, evaluating and adjusting the tipping fees based on treatment costs and competitive rates, and establishing my position, which created a dedicated responsibility and oversight for the program. And all in all, these changes have helped us to expand the program while improving efficiency, monitoring, and cost recovery. So our program has 3 distinct disposal areas based on the type of waste that's being received. We currently have 66 permitted haulers and more than 350 trucks that participate in the program. On average, we see about 50 trucks per day during the dry weather and 75 trucks per day during the wet weather. However, in January, we had a record so far for this year, which was 101 transactions in one day. And as the program has grown, so has the variety of waste types that we accept. So looking closer at our disposal areas, this is a close-up of our septic receiving station where we take in septic tank and portable toilet waste. Haulers back their truck up to the discharge area and it goes into that receiving trough, which has a screen to remove debris. And it's the hauler's responsibility to remove the screen debris and clean the area before they leave. And the arrow pointing to the waste hauler shack is where every hauler, when they come in, they go into that little building and check in. So this is a truck discharging at our high-strength waste station. Behind the tanker are the 4 12,000-gallon holding tanks, which limits how much of the high-strength waste we can accept. The station accepts the more concentrated waste streams from businesses such as dairy and creamery processors, wineries and breweries, and restaurant grease interceptors. These wastes are generally not suitable for direct sewer discharge. For example, grease from restaurants can accumulate in the sewer lines and cause blockages and backups. So grease interceptors at restaurants capture that grease and oil, which is then periodically would be pumped out by a hauler and brought to our plant. The high-strength waste station is also the only discharge station that requires staff assistance. Our operations staff will connect the hose from the holding tank to the tanker and assist the hauler with offloading. This is our emergency holding basin, which is now a very big area where a lot of haulers dump. The emergency holding basin is where we receive all the other waste types. This includes low-strength waste, such as groundwater and certain wash waters, as well as medium-strength waste, which is like equipment washed down from the creameries and the wineries, and leachate from soil composting operations, as well as landfill leachate and tipping floor gray water that we'd been receiving previously. So this slide shows the total gallons received by calendar year, split up by each of the receiving areas. To put the early numbers into perspective, the 1,200 gallons that was received in 2013 is equivalent to 1 truckload of septic. I've also included the 2026 so far, year to date, to show where we are so far this year, gallons received. This slide provides an overview of the tipping fees collected by fiscal year. In 2013, the program generated approximately $195,000 in tipping fees, and now, as you'll see, the fiscal year 2026 up to June was annual collections had grown to approximately $5 million, reflecting the significant growth over the years that this program has experienced. So to talk a little bit about the process that a hauler has to go through in order to be able to discharge at the plant, they are permitted as a waste hauler, and in order to obtain the permit, they have to submit an application that identifies the waste types that they plan to bring in, as well as the vehicle license plates associated with their account. They have to pay an annual fee, which is currently $654. They have to meet our insurance requirements and provide us updates as necessary. And ideally, we will request that they provide waste sampling data so that I use that to profile the waste and determine the appropriate fee category. I then develop each hauler's waste hauler permit, which outlines the requirements such as following plant safety rules, paying their bills on time, and cleaning the discharge areas after each load. And each permitted vehicle is also issued a scan card, which has a barcode on it, and that links back to the vehicle license plate, and that is how the tipping fees are based on the total tank capacity. So like many programs, the trucked waste program has had its share of challenges. We have shutdowns that occur due to construction, maintenance, or staffing. These most often affect the high-strength waste station because it does require staff to operate and has more equipment that requires maintenance. For example, we've had issues with rags and other debris getting caught up in the pumps during offloading, which is the top picture, a picture of a rag stuck in there. Wet weather can also create challenges. More haulers come in as holding ponds and tanks at wineries and landfills fill more quickly. At the same time, heavy rainfall can impact the treatment plant. If flooding becomes a concern, our operations staff may need to install barriers, which are the tiger dams that go across the entrance of the plant. So it protects the plant equipment and processes and requires us to temporarily shut down trucked waste. And trucked waste can also be one of the first controllable sources that we would restrict if plant capacity was limited. We also occasionally receive mystery discharges, such as the black tar-like material that's shown on the one picture, which is the emergency holding basin. The addition of cameras, though, has made it much easier to identify the haulers when these incidences occur. And lastly, the plant wasn't originally designed for a trucked waste program, so space limitations and truck routing can be challenging, especially when multiple trucks are coming into the plant at the same time. So despite these challenges, there have been successes that I want to highlight. I think having a program coordinator provides a single point of contact, improving program oversight and customer service. I've made it a goal to increase sampling as resources allow, giving us a better understanding of the waste that's being received. The tipping fees help support the ongoing operation of the program, and the program provides an important disposal option for our community and in particular local waste haulers. I've also recently started connecting with representatives from other agencies to share information and learn how different agencies manage their trucked waste. And what I have learned through these conversations is very few agencies will accept such a wide variety of waste streams, and that makes our program a very important regional resource. So this final slide provides January through June 2026 snapshot of the waste that we've received by type. You'll see that the largest portion was creamery wastewater at 41%, and that only represents 3 businesses. Winery wastewater has been increasing as the regulations at wineries have gotten stricter, and that is currently at 15%. And landfill leachate, 19%, which does not include the Meacham or the central landfill because it goes through the pipeline, and the septic waste was about 12%. And together, these waste streams generated approximately $2.4 million in tipping fees so far from January to June. With that, if you have any questions.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Vice Chair Arnone.
Thank you for the presentation, very complete. It's a larger operation than I think we all realize at times. So it's good to see an overview of the whole thing. My question has to do with the 48,000 gallon limitation on accepting high strength waste. Is it common for us to have to turn people away because we don't have any more storage space?
Yes, actually we have operation hours because staff does need to be present in order to offload. So currently the hours for the high strength are Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 1:30, and a lot of times we have to shut down sooner because we have to shut down as soon as it fills up.
So that raises a question in my head. What I've heard is that it's been a very successful program and that it's been useful for the region, and it's been all financial successful as well as resource successful. So would there be any reason to investigate increasing our storage capacity so that we could process more high-strength waste?
I do think that that has been considered. I think there's a lot of other upgrades that would have to happen before we would be able to handle more.
Okay.
As
Thank
far
you.
as like digester space and.
So it's not just the storage capacity that's
Right.
limiting what we can do? Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Other board member questions or comments? Board Member DeWitt? Oh, Board Member Wright.
Thank you for the presentation and congratulations on your position. This is a fantastic program. We have recently been discussing this program from a budget standpoint because you raised your rates. So I'm glad that all the board can actually hear and see what this program does. This is a phenomenal program for the community in general. I mean, back in the 80s, we just didn't have this kind of stuff. I remember in the late 90s when we started developing it, it was pretty pretty, eclectic, I guess. But it certainly is coming now. But one thing I just heard you say that, are we running out of digester space? I thought I thought we had lots of digester space.
That would not be my area of expertise.
Oh, okay. All
If
righty.
anyone in the room would like to speak.
Maybe, okay, all right. All right, but anyway, thank you very much for the presentation, and I really, I'm very happy about this program, very proud that the city has taken this on and been so aggressive at developing it, so thank you.
Board Member DeWitt?
Yes, thank you. It was a nice presentation. Could you look at slide 11 for a moment? The picture of the truck that's driving up through some water, that's there at the site. And is that after a big rain?
Yes, that was when we were on the verge of flooding. We probably shut down soon after that.
All right. And is there a risk of flooding this fall? We expect a bit more rain this year.
I'm sure it's possible. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but typically, since we are at the lowest point, all the sewer gravity comes to us, so we do flood regularly.
With that in mind, what are the preparations that you do to keep it from going over into the waste pond?
Well, operations staff is responsible for that, and they put up tiger dams.
Okay.
So that's why when they put those up, they go across the road so that the haulers can't come in anymore.
I get that. I'm just concerned, even without the haulers, you've got sandbagging and other types of...
Oh, they protect it very well.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah.
Other board member questions or comments? Yes. Go ahead, Board Member Meisler.
I have a couple of questions. I'm curious, is there any negative consequence environmentally when trucks are turned away? Like, do they go do something illegal to dump the waste somewhere else?
Typically, they will be permitted with another facility. They might just have to drive further because a similar program to ours is East Bay Mud. And so depending on the waste type, they might have to drive there.
Is there a tracking method to know what happens when they're turned away?
No, there is not.
So it's just a trust relationship, basically?
Yes.
Curious there. And then I was curious, this is just a curiosity question, is the sampling done by individual truckload, by the carriers?
We have staff that will sample as we can. Operations currently samples once a week, septic, and then we have an intern that will sample twice a week right now, as much as our laboratory will allow in a day for us to bring in is what we will just randomly sample the trucks.
Thank you. And then I have one final question. Is any of the solid waste that's collected appropriate for biochar?
I am uncertain about solid waste.
I think typically septic waste can be, and I'm curious if there's any
I don't know.
participation in
I don't
those kind
know.
of programs.
I'm unfamiliar.
Okay, thank you.
Other board member questions or comments? All right, we'll open it up now for public comment on item 6.3. If you wish to make a public comment, please move to the podium. See no one rise. Thank you again for your presentation. Very well done. We have one item on the consent calendar, which is the approval of the professional services agreement with Sonoma Resource. And you'll see from the agenda, and I'll give a report later, that this matter went before the contract review subcommittee and is being recommended to the full board.
I'll move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion by Vice Chair Arnone, seconded by Board Member Badenfort. This time we'll open it up for public comment on item 7.1. If you wish to make a comment, please move to the podium. See no one rise. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Board Member Wright?
Aye.
Board Member Meisler?
Aye.
Board Member DeWitt,
Yes.
Board Member Badenfort,
Aye.
Vice Chair Arnone,
Aye.
and Chair Galvin.
Aye.
Let the record reflect that the consent calendar passes unanimously.
Thank you. We have no report items. Next item on the agenda is item number 9, public comments on non-agenda matters. If you wish to make a comment on a non-agenda matter, please move to the podium. See no one rise. That'll take care of that. We have no referrals. We have no written communications. As I mentioned a moment ago, we do have one subcommittee report. The Contract Review Subcommittee met on Monday, August 31st. We reviewed and unanimously recommended the professional services agreement that was just before us and has been approved. And I believe that's the only subcommittee report. Any questions on that? We'll open it up then for public comment on item number 12. If you wish to make a comment on item 12, please move to the podium. See no one rise. Any board member reports? Board Member DeWitt?
Yes, I do believe it's important. This rain that's happened today may be a forerunner, if you will, of more rain at unexpected times. Under the bridges, I'm sure not just in Roseland, but in other spots, there are collections of possessions of different, whoever collects them and puts them there. So I think we really need to be on the forefront of moving that stuff out. I know we don't have enough staff in some senses, but it would be a good idea to look under the bridge, basically, wherever we're at, and see what might be under there that's going to get swept out to the Laguna and then possibly even to the Russian River. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member comments or reports? We'll open it up for public comment then on item number 13. If you wish to make a comment, please move to the podium. See no one rise. That'll take care of that item. Director's report. Director Burke.
Thank you, Chair Galvin and members of the board. I just have a few things to update the board on. First, as many of you may have been aware, there was a 3.5 magnitude earthquake a little earlier today centered in Larkfield Wickiup. Just wanted to let the board know that we did not receive any alarms or SCADA concerns. So we did not find any damage to our facilities or our systems, and things are operating normally. Second, I wanted to let the board know that we will once again be celebrating Water Professionals Appreciation Week. That will be October 3rd through October 11th. And we will provide an update on those events and how we will be celebrating your wonderful team at your next board meeting. Also, on October 17th, we are doing a trick or treatment, Mysteries of the Laguna Treatment Plant from 10 to 2, and this will be the launch of our newly renovated treatment plant tour program. We will be decorating parts of the treatment plant for Halloween. We'll have kid-friendly activities, candy, and tours for members of the public that are aged 10 and above. Pre-registration is required if you want to go on the tour, plus you also have to wear closed-toe shoes if you want to go on the tour. And more information and registration is available at srcity.org/tourtheplant. And again, that's going to be on Saturday, October 17th from 10 to 2 at the Laguna Treatment Plant. And then also this year, the police department is reimagining their family-friendly trunk or treat event. And that is going to now be a citywide event, and the water department will be participating, bringing some of our, I think our cleaning truck will be there, as well as some other equipment. That will be on Thursday, October 29th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds, and is anticipated that up to 5,000 people attend that event. We will have lots of candy and fun activities for kids. And again, this is a family-friendly event where police department, as well as other city departments and community partners will be participating. And that is my update, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the director? Very good. We'll open it up for public comment on item number 14. If you wish to make a public comment, please move to the podium. See no one rise. That concludes our agenda for today. So we are adjourned. Thank you.